All right, welcome in everyone. So, my hope and goal with this program, with this presentation, is to inspire lasting change that leads to transformation in your life and your health. I'm not here just to give you more information because nobody watching this is lacking information. What we lack is information that's properly interpreted and then acted upon consistently over time. So if you feel like you've been doing everything right, you're eating better, you're exercising, you're taking supplements, but you still don't feel the way that you think you should, this is going to connect some dots for you because what I'm going to show you are the four things most people never look at, but they're quietly keeping them tired, inflamed, and stuck. So let me start with a visual that makes this really simple. Imagine you sit down at your computer. At one point, it was fast, sharp, and reliable. Now, it may take forever to start. Programs may freeze up. So you click and you wait and you wait. The death scroll. You know what I'm talking about. The fan is running like it's trying to survive. Something's off. So, what do most people do? They install another app, they add more software, maybe an antivirus, or they just try to reboot it and hope for the best. But here's the problem: the issue isn't what the computer's missing, it's what's been piling up on the inside of it. When you take a closer look, there are background programs running that you didn't even know existed, old files, corrupt data, conflicting processes fighting for control. No wonder it's slow, glitching, and overheating. Now, listen, our body works the same way. It becomes bogged down and interfered with. That's why we can be eating clean, taking supplements, working out, and still feel stuck, tired, inflamed, run down. Because the answer isn't about adding more, it's about removing what doesn't belong. And that's exactly what we're going to walk through in this presentation, the hidden things running in the background that are slowing everything down. I've spent the last 30 years helping people who feel like they were out of options. And what I started to notice was the people struggling the most were doing the best with the information they had, but often they were guessing or not working with a complete picture because it was entirely focused on treating a symptom. So, this is who I built this for: those who are frustrated, those who've been attempting to eat cleaner, to exercise, to take supplements, but still dealing with fatigue, inflammation, and weight gain. At some point, it stops being frustrated and starts feeling like something's wrong with you. It's not you, you're not broken. The real problem: you've been taught to guess with random supplements, random diets, random detoxes. A quick way to lose a few pounds only to gain that plus some back. That's not a strategy and it's not sustainable over time. And it does not lead to health, nor does it lead to transformation. So, what's actually happened is that there are hidden stressors inside the body driving chronic low grade inflammation. And that chronic low grade inflammation is at the root cause of every chronic illness. It's driving fatigue, your energy levels, hormone disruption, your endocrine system, and metabolic issues. These aren't random symptoms, they're what we call body signals. The body's trying to tell us something's wrong. And what we've been trained to do is to mask those symptoms and go on with life like nothing's wrong. When we look at not just physical pain and symptoms, but the effect that it has, the impact that it has on our life, there's a cost to it. It's what I call the life effect. These are the missed moments: the lost confidence, the brain fog, the lack of energy, the poor sleep. This is where it starts to affect more than just your body, more than just the physical symptoms. Our health transcends every aspect of our life. It impacts our life in ways that are measurable. We call it the life effect. So think about how your health, the challenges you've been dealt or you're facing, how are they impacting these areas of your life, causing a life effect for you? We need to begin looking at the body and understanding the most important part of our body that doesn't get addressed properly is the nervous system. Now, there's a few different parts to the nervous system. We're going to focus in tonight or today on the autonomic nervous system. Think of it as automatic. You don't have to think about this, it happens automatically. But this nervous system is the most important part of our body. It controls, coordinates, regulates, it orchestrates the function of every cell, tissue, organ, and system in our body. When we look at this nervous system, the autonomic system has two parts to it, two main parts. On the left-hand side of this equation, we have the sympathetic nervous system. That's our body's gas pedal. It speeds things up. You've heard it referred to as the fight or flight response. So when we perceive a threat, this system kicks in, fight or flight. On the right-hand side, we have the parasympathetic system. That's our body's brake pedal. It slows things down. Think of rest, digest, rest and repair. So in order for our body to be resilient, to be adaptable, to produce the biochemistry, the hormones, everything that it needs properly, we have to have a state of balance between these two systems. When we were hunters and gatherers, the sympathetic nervous system's primary design to get us to safety for survival, if we perceived a threat, the blood pressure would go up, the heart would beat faster, push more blood out to the muscles, so the blood pressure would go up, we breathe faster, the blood sugar goes up, triglycerides go up, cholesterol goes up, all of these things go up. But when we got to safety, the parasympathetic system kicked in, and all of those things came back down, downregulated. So we had that good adaptable response. In our world today, modern day life is unnaturally stressful. So we tend to live in a sympathetically dominated state, which means our blood pressure tends to go up and stay up. Triglycerides go up and stay up. Blood sugar goes up and stays up. Cholesterol goes up and stays up. You think about some of the most common prescriptions that are given to people today: blood pressure, cholesterol, and then usually diabetes. Whole host of reasons for that. But it's primarily driven by this sympathetic, this fight or flight stress response. We're not getting into the rest and digest response. When your body is in survival mode, it is not thinking about making a baby, healing and repair, digestion. It's thinking about survival. It's protective. So we need to help address, number one, this nervous system, because it controls and coordinates the function of everything else in our body. We'll do a deeper dive on that in another time, but right now, that's the overview that we need moving forward. When we look at the four stressors that are impacting the body, the number one thing is the nervous system, and this is the big one. If your nervous system is stuck in that stress mode, your body simply cannot heal. It can't repair, it can't adapt the way that it's supposed to. This is what I call the wired but tired sensation. Racing thoughts at night, crashing midday, cortisol levels are off. Cortisol is your stress hormone. Your body's stuck in that survival mode. It's on high alert, but it never gets into rest and digest and repair mode. Okay, so we see blood pressure issues, we see digestive issues, we see lack of healing, lack of clarity, tired and run down. Your body gets to a state of exhaustion. We need to address this system. This is the first pillar of this program, the nervous system. Now, number two, this one surprises people. The second stressor, these are food sensitivities. Now, some of the healthiest foods you're eating might actually be triggering inflammation in your body. And if we don't find what those foods are and eliminate them, they continue to cause inflammation and it snowballs over time. That chronic low-grade inflammation keeps your body stuck, inflamed, and lacks healing during that time. So these healthy foods, you can take a look at that food on that plate. That looks like a healthy meal, a perfect meal, but you could eat that and still feel digestive upset afterward. You could feel aches or pains or inflamed or just lack of energy, because it's not about the food being healthy versus unhealthy. It's how your body is responding to that particular food. So we need to know and understand what foods your body is having a sensitivity to and eliminate those from your routine. So number one is the nervous system. Number two are finding out the offending foods. Number three, nutrient deficiencies. Even if you eat clean and supplement, you can still be deficient in nutrients. And if we are deficient in nutrients, the body doesn't have the raw materials that it needs to heal, to repair, to adapt, to recover, to function at its best. These nutrient deficiencies result from soil depletion. Our soil is not as healthy as it was 50 years ago. Okay, you look at even romaine lettuce. 20, 30 years ago, it was darker, leafier green. Today, it looks more like just a regular head of lettuce. Stress, the higher stress levels we have and the more we stay in that sympathetic dominant state, guess what? We start to burn through more nutrients, more minerals. Then, if we've combined that stress, right, our digestion is down, we've combined that with processed and ultra processed foods or medications, we have poor absorption, we have gut issues, sometimes that lead to a leaky gut, so poor absorption of nutrients. And then, if we layer that in with poor quality supplements, we lead to a point where we have nutrient deficiencies. So think of these nutrients kind of like spark plugs. We could have an entire engine in our car be perfect, but if we're missing the spark plugs, it just doesn't run. No matter what we do, it's not going to run right. These nutrients are the spark plugs for our body. And we need to test to determine what nutrients you're deficient in. What most people are doing today, though, they're reading an article, they're buying supplements they're on sale, whatever it might be, and all of a sudden we're on 5 or 10 different supplements, and you don't even know if you need them or if your body's utilizing them properly. So, the nervous system, number one. Number two are the food sensitivities, and number three, we need to figure out what nutrients you're deficient in. That leads us to number four, what's called toxic load. Okay, this toxic load has an impact on our endocrine system, how our body functions as a whole. Our environment over time has not become less toxic. Could you agree? I would say yes. It's become more and more toxic as time has gone by. And it's not one toxin, it's the accumulation of these toxins over time. They get stored in our body. So when they build up in the body, it disrupts our hormones, our endocrine system, our energy, our weight. It creates weight loss resistance. The body goes into survival and protection mode. If these toxins don't get cleared out, where do they go? Where do they get stored? The body's smart. It's designed to be healthy. It's designed to survive and protect itself. Those toxins in the body, they get stored in our adipose tissue. That's the way the body protects itself. So if we don't release those toxins, they'll continue to cause us to retain weight, unwanted weight over time. That leads to more inflammation. Again, disrupts the hormones, energy, a whole host of health issues. We need to address the toxins safely and gently. So the problem isn't your effort. The problem is your body's natural abilities being interfered with, which means the solution isn't about adding more supplements, more clean foods, more. It's about precision. It's what I call the minimum effective dose of how you eat, how you move, how you think, how you build your life. So let's define health. Health is defined as optimal physical, mental, social, and spiritual well being, not just the absence of disease or infirmity. Here's another definition that fits perfectly for our presentation. Health results from sufficiency and purity in thoughts, movements, hydration, nutrition, oxygen, rest, all of the facets of health. Health results from sufficiency and purity in those areas. On the flip side of that coin, all disease results from toxicity and deficiency. And what did we just outline, right? We can have deficiencies in neural function. We can have deficiencies or toxicities with the foods we're eating, deficiencies with the nutrients we're consuming, and toxicities with the heavy metals we're carrying. That leads us down the pathway towards disease. When we take a look at this illness wellness continuum, on one hand, we have high level wellness. That's what we are designed for. On the other hand, we have premature death. Nobody wants that end. But I want you to take a look at the middle part of this, the comfortably numb part. That's where most people live. And I've sat down with thousands of people over 30 years who will come in and see me and say, I'm generally pretty healthy. And then we look through their history. They're on 5, 7, 10 different medications. In fact, if you look at how many prescription medications are given each year in the United States, that's enough for 13 prescriptions for every man, woman, and child in the United States. Think about that. And the third leading cause of preventable death in our country are properly prescribed medications. Let that settle in for just a second. So what we've been trained to do in our current model, our current healthcare crisis care system, is when we have a dis-ease or lack of ease symptoms in our body, we're trained to medicate it and then go back into the same lifestyle that created the problem in the first place. Only until those symptoms aren't improving, and then we take ourselves to the doctor, and the doctor's solution most often is another prescription. So that moves us from symptoms moving towards the left on this continuum. It moves us back to that yellow zone in the middle, comfortably numb. We're not experiencing any symptoms, but we're also not experiencing health and wellness. Okay, we're under the illusion that we're healthy because our symptoms are being managed. Ideal optimal health is moving us towards the right. Now, those medications could at one point save your life. Great. Now, save my life, get me back to comfortably numb, and let's design a plan that moves me towards the right. At any age, this is possible. So, no limits. Your body is designed to be healthy. It's really smart. We just have to remove the interference and allow it to do what it naturally and normally knows how to do. So there's a four-part framework to the way that we approach things with this. We don't look at one thing with your health. We look at four areas because they overlap and they amplify. As I mentioned, the first pillar is our nervous system. You should be under chiropractic care from birth through every stage of life. It directly ties into the health and the integrity of your nervous system, how your body heals, repairs, and coordinates itself. Now, there are some other strategies that we use to address and monitor the nervous system. Okay. Number two on here, we look at food sensitivities. We do a simple test to look at what foods, about 100 different foods that your body is having inflammatory responses to so that we can remove them. Number three on here is the nutrient status, nutrient deficiencies. We find the deficiencies and we work on restoring them. And number four is addressing the toxic load gently, not aggressively, so that your body can remove and eliminate the toxins from the body so it can begin to heal, repair, and adapt the way that it's supposed to. Those are the four pieces, the four pillars of this program. Now, what we test for, where it comes to foods, is a blood spot test. Okay, it's really simple. There's a blood spot test. It's a little kit. It's an at-home. You don't go to a lab for this. It's a little finger prick, and that gets sent into our lab and gives us a report back on IgG food sensitivities. These are things that are inflammatory in the body. It will give us a grade on these 100 different foods, mild, moderate to severe of inflammation, so that we know what we need to do to eliminate them. Another test that we're going to do, okay, in this program, we give our patients these uroxy, what are called uroxy test kits, okay, and they're measured on this card from the left side to the right side. It measures cellular inflammation in your body. It's a simple at-home urine test, but this will give you an extremely accurate picture of how much inflammation your body's dealing with. And over time, what we see is as we go, every 30 days we do this, we see it moving this way towards the right, less inflammation. That's the uroxy test, a very important piece of this. And the other piece is another test that we have called the hair mineral test analysis. Literally taking hair from your body with the follicles and testing them. That gives us very specific nutrient deficiencies, but it also will tell us which heavy metals and environmental toxins your body is being challenged with. So the cool thing is that when I get these reports back, we have the food sensitivities, the inflammation, the nutrient deficiencies, the toxic load. We'll have a list of, hey, you need to take these nutrients to restore the deficiencies, address the nervous system, remove the foods, restore these deficiencies, eliminate these toxicities. But where it comes to the nutrient deficiencies, you get a food list that says these foods contain these nutrients, eat more of these things, eliminate these foods, and then restore with these nutrients. The nutrient deficiencies, we have the ability to make a custom formula for you, personalized for you, based upon your nutritional deficiencies, based on your lab results. So you're not taking 5, 10, or 15 different supplements. This is minimum effective dose. So we're taking the fewest amount of pills at the best cost. All right. So that's the 4-part program here. Most approaches, when they're dealing with health issues, they're chasing symptoms. So we identify what's driving them in this program. We're not chasing symptoms. We're not guessing. We test. Those test results drive what we do. The most important test in any time that you get any testing done with your health, the most important test is always the next one, so that you can see if what you've done is working and then be able to fine tune that. So we always encourage getting an initial set of tests done and then monitoring that over time so you can see the changes that are making. You have a dialed in plan, foundational health plan for yourself. When you start to address and remove the interference, the body begins to do what it was designed to do: heal, repair, adapt. This is, like I said, a foundational health program that, regardless of what health issues someone might have, or what things, diagnoses they might have, or treatments they might have, this can be used with anything. Now, our job with this isn't to prescribe or take you off a medication. You work with your medical doctor on those. And many times, as people are doing this program, their medical doctors will have to reduce the dosages of the medications that they're on. Some of them can get eliminated, which is a blessing. So this is a foundational health program. It's literally a reboot for your body, kind of like what we talked about, rebooting the computer. So it will restore energy. It will bring clarity. So brain fog starts to lift, begins to give us the reduction in inflammation that we're seeking. It gives us the energy, the vitality, the health, healing, and wellness by removing the interferences that are limiting it right now. So before I show you how to get started, I want to be really clear about who this program is for and who it's not for. Okay, this program is designed for someone who's tired of guessing, someone who's been dealing with fatigue and inflammation, weight loss resistance, someone who's frustrated with the lack of results that they're getting, someone who's ready to actually test, to take action and follow a plan, not just try to figure things out or just hope and pray that it's going to work. Someone who's ready to commit to a real 90-day transformation. This is not for someone looking for a quick fix or just a quick cleanse or detox. It's not for someone who is not willing to commit to a routine and a plan. It's definitely not for someone who's not ready to take ownership of their health. This system works, but it only works if you're willing to do the work. It's a very simple program, but simple isn't always easy. So let me show you what this actually looks like. As we walk through this, there's 5 steps here. First, we go through the discovery process, the testing that I mentioned. Okay, we identify exactly what's going on. Then we begin to remove the inflammatory foods. After that, number 3, we restore the missing nutrients, the nutrient deficiencies. Number 4, we begin to support your body in clearing what doesn't belong there with a gentle 90-day detox. The detox, there's 3 stages to it. There's a preparation phase to open up the detox pathways in the body. Then there's the body phase where it starts to release the toxins to bind them and move them out of the body. And then there's the brain phase where it actually does the same thing for the brain. We begin to rebuild your system for long-term results. The body starts to do its thing again. This isn't random. It's a structured process, returning the body to its original operating system. So here's what I want you to understand. The promise of health is already within you. Now, you're not broken. You're not missing anything. If you take a look at the picture on the screen here, that puzzle box, like any puzzle box, there's a beautiful picture on the cover of it, the promise of what could be. But when you take that box and you look at the cover, but then you shake it, the pieces are scattered. They're not connected. Okay? Disconnected, scattered, incomplete. The promise exists, though, on the cover. Okay, so what you're looking for, energy, clarity, vitality, healing, the promise of good health, that's already inside of you. The puzzle picture on the cover of that box, that's your health, that's your vision for a good, healthy life. Right now, it feels scattered, disconnected, and incomplete. But as you put the pieces together, just like the puzzle, the process doesn't create health. It just reveals what's already been built within you. Remember, we start life at wellness. This is just getting back to basics. So the question becomes, how do we start putting the pieces together? And this is where you have a decision to make. We've created 3 different ways for you to move forward with this program based on how much support you want and how quickly you want results. So when you look at this page, there's 3 different programs. So we're going to start on the left side of the screen, the Discovery Reset. This is where most people start, and it gives you the testing, the clarity, the roadmap so you can finally stop guessing. Where when we look at this Discovery Reset, you're not just discovering what's going on, you're actually implementing the full system. So in that Discovery Reset, we are doing the testing that we talked about. So you get the hair mineral test analysis, the food sensitivities, the Uroxy test kit. There's a book that I've created that will walk you through all of this. And this goes along with a 90-day online course. There's 20 lessons in there that walks you through all of the detailed reports that I'm going to provide to you, the review of all your tests and your roadmap. That's where I recommend people begin if they're not sure. Get the testing done. And then some people will jump into this next one, the complete system. They'll jump into this right away. But for those that are not certain, get the testing done. The complete system does this. It has the testing that I just described, has everything I just described in that discovery reset. That discovery reset, there's a value, just the testing alone, you could pay $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 for. The way I've stacked it there, the value of it is about $1,325. I'm selling this right now. You can purchase this now, the Discovery Reset, for $597. When in doubt, start there. The Complete Reset, though, what that does, it takes the testing, everything that we did in the Discovery Reset, and we're going to do it on the back end as well. It's going to get you a second set of tests so that we can see if what we did worked. It's also going to get you your 90-day detox plan. Okay, a very specific set of supplements for the body phase, or the prep phase, the body phase, and the brain phase. It gets you a customized, personalized supplement built, designed just for you, high quality nutrients, okay, private label directly to you, and it gets you additional support. The total cost for that, the value for it is, well over $3,100. Routinely sells for $24.97. Because of this presentation, it's $21.47. That includes everything, very comprehensive. And that's usually what people will upgrade to if they just started with the Discovery. Now, the Signature Reset, this is for people who want the highest level of precision and support. Okay, this is for someone who says, I don't want to waste time. I want to do this right. It includes everything in the Complete, everything in the Discovery, but it has a higher level of support, more detailed follow-ups, more dialed-in plans. You're going to get a pre and post assessment with me, more health history, kind of deeper dive on things. That Signature Reset, that is kind of like an application process. I don't accept everybody to that. My schedule is limited to the number of people that I accept for that program, and it's not right for everybody. Most people will kind of jump up to do the Complete Reset. Many people will begin with just getting the information, and for some of them, that will be enough with the Discovery Reset. That Discovery Reset, once we review it though, if people want to jump up to the Complete Reset, there's a very simple upgrade. You just pay the difference. And I can go over all of that with you. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about what resonated with you. If you're tired of guessing, if you're ready to actually understand what's going on in your body, I'm going to send this video along with the payment links. Okay, so you can go ahead and click on the links, check them out. It will describe everything that comes with that program. There are payment plans available at checkout. So if you can't make the full payment all at once, you can spread out your payments very simply within the checkout process. So if you have questions about this program, about anything that we've gone through, you can email me directly, drgary@thesource.health. But I want you to think about something. 3 months from now, you're either going to still be searching for answers, or you're going to have the answers and be in process with a plan to improve your health, leading to transformation and improved quality of life. That choice is yours. My hope and goal, like I said at the beginning, is lasting transformation for you. And that only happens when we find the source and we simplify the solution, returning your body to what its normal operating system is. So thank you very much for the time. I appreciate the opportunity to review this information with you. Any questions, please reach out. And I look forward to catching up with you soon and working with you on this program, helping you to achieve the best health, quality of life, and transformation possible.